Hi, my name is Todd Ross, and in 1996 my father Roy was killed while racing at the Race City Speedway in Calgary. Over the last 24 years, Bruce Hampton, president of the International Motor Contest Associates and its drivers, have put on a memorial race in honor of my father. This year it's at the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin. I'd like to invite you all to come down and watch some great grassroots racing on the pavement. I'd like to ask you a favor. If you are planning on coming down to the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin to cheer on one or more of the competitors in this year's 25th anniversary Roy Ross Memorial, please buy your tickets online at eventbrite.ca or email royrossmemorial@gmail.com. All the purchases from either the online sales or through email, the proceeds go directly back to the racers of the show. Please support them and come on down and again watch some great racing. Thank you. And now we're going to watch a video of one of the competitors in this year's race. I'd like to thank Ian Burgess for doing the interviews and for providing them to the Roy Ross Memorial. Thank you. Enjoy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our series of driver interviews for the 25th running of the Roy Ross Memorial. This year's event will be held July 23rd and 24th at Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. We will talk a bit more about the event and its complete history in our interview with Roy's son, Todd Ross. The goal of these interviews is to give you a glimpse into the life of the racers and what the Roy Ross Memorial means to them. My name is Ian Burgess. I had the pleasure of racing in this event in 2011. I've also been able to help crew some cars that were able to win the event, and it is one of the most prestigious events in Canada for auto racing, definitely for the IMCA Modifieds. It's an event that means a lot to a lot of people. Tonight we are joined by Colby McTavish. Colby is a one-time winner of this event, and he won it in 2019. He also comes from the famed McTavish family, racing family, and is a part of that. And his brother Justin races, his father Barry McTavish still races, and he's also had his uncle Jeff and his grandfather as well. So lots of that. Oh, and I should also say your stepbrother Cameron as well. So lots of racing in the family. Colby, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good. Can't complain.
That's good. That's good. Maybe just talk a little bit about how you got your start in racing, and it's kind of similar to your brother. I know you guys kind of jumped right into modifieds pretty quickly, but maybe growing up the racetrack, all that kind of stuff. What kind of gave you the racing bug, and what's kept you in it?
For me, I really just started because it was the family thing. Hockey was really my thing at the time, and once I got into racing and started, it just kind of took over and became the sport for me, I guess.
Yeah, and so you've had a lot of success at different races, different racetracks, and you actually drive a sport mod now. So maybe just talk
Yeah.
a little bit about the difference between an A mod and a sport mod.
Well, there aren't too many major differences. Just the springs have to be on top of the diff rather than in front or behind it, like the other classes run. You can't run wheel spacers. The offsets, you can only run 3s and 4s, I think. And then the rear spoiler, and otherwise they're pretty much the same.
Yeah, so do you find even like setup and stuff's pretty similar to when you used to run the A mod?
Yeah, for the most part. I haven't raced full time since I changed over, so it's been a little hard to get a full handle on it, but for the most part it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Just a little harder to get bite out of the corners and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe talk a little bit about what the Roy Ross Memorial means to you. We were just chatting earlier, and you're planning on running part-time, and this, is the for sure race you're going to be at this year, and we'll see what other ones can happen. But why do you choose the Roy Ross Memorial as if you're going to run one show of the year? What's the reason behind that?
Well, pretty much for my whole family. I think it's kind of the race. My grandpa was really good friends with Roy, and we're pretty good friends with the Ross family. And for me personally, it's been the hardest race for me to win. So kind of the one and big deal.
Yeah, one of the cool things, Todd sent me some little facts and details and stuff like that. And you guys, because you have such a big family of racers, you've been able to have your own races a few times at the event, since there's been a couple
Yep.
events where your dad and your uncle and you and Justin got to run, and then there was the Knowles Dash that they did a few years ago, in memory of Tyler's dad that passed away, Todd Knowles, and things like that. And one even for in memorial of your grandfather. What is it like to be a part of a family of racers?
It's pretty cool. A lot to live up to. There's, a lot of success my dad and uncle have had. So, it's a lot to live up to, but it's fun. It's cool to get to race with everyone at the same time.
Your brother said last night that you guys race each other pretty hard, maybe harder than you do anyone else on the track. Do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. There was one race when I first started, and I wasn't doing very well. I was pretty slow still, and everyone went by me with no issues, but Justin went by me, and I gave him a decent bump going by.
Yeah, yeah. Just a reminder, you're
Yeah.
here. Yeah. Um, Maybe talk about your win. So 2019, you were able to win the Roy Ross, and now your dad's name's on it, your brother's name's on it, your name's on it, and not just your name but your picture. That's one of the cool things about that trophy.
Yeah.
Maybe just talk about the day, the event, the main event. How did you pull it off?
Well, it was a lot of being in the right place at the right time, really, because I started in the outside of the front row, so the day hadn't gone super great for me up till that point. But I guess when the main started, I kind of picked my point to go, and the guy on the inside hadn't gone yet, so I was able to get the lead going in the first corner, and was just fast enough to hold Greg off at the end. So I wasn't the fastest car by any stretch, but just fast enough that day.
Yeah. Um, Todd also brought up that you are tied for second place, for the Hard Charger Award. So you, in 2012, you went from 11th to third. Now, for the people that don't know about Edmonton International Raceway, it's a bull ring and it's a tight track, and it can be hard to pass. I don't know if you remember that race. That was a long time ago, but going from 11th to third, would you agree that's a pretty tough thing to do in Wetaskiwin?
Oh, definitely.
And so, what do you remember that night? What was going on?
I don't remember for sure, but I'm thinking there had to have been at least a small pile up to make it single file at some point.
Yeah, I think I was talking with Jamie. That's the year Jamie won, and he talked about there was some stuff going on. I think Jason Siliker got into someone, and Mitch, and there was a few things going on that night that may have affected the outcome a little bit. This year the event's going to be over 2 days, and so normally it's one day, everyone shows up, but you got your best of your best, it's brand new tires, it's all this stuff, and 47 laps, and you give it your all. Now there's going to be a race on Friday night, the Silver Star Challenge, which is the winner's going to get a big WWE belt, and it's going to be a 47 lap event. And then you're going to have the traditional Roy Ross on Saturday. We got Anu Gas Compression sponsoring the big trophy and all that, and then they're also going to have a weekend championship. So we've done that a little bit in Hythe, with Super Nationals. You've won that one too, where 2 days of points goes together to become that. So that's going to be the Goldbrook 247. What do you think? Are you excited? Are you nervous about a 2 day show compared to one?
A little bit nervous. I think it'll make it interesting, kind of throw a wrench in it. I know at Super Nationals, I don't know if a lot of the drivers will agree with me, but I find the first day is like really intense, and a few guys drive a little over the top and things happen, and kind of cools off a little bit by the second day, and it feels more like a normal race day. With the Memorial being on the second day, though, I think both days are going to be pretty intense.
Yeah, I'm interested. I think it can go two ways. I think you might have some people that maybe save their stuff for the second day. But I agree. I think I've seen that in the past too, where on the first day, everyone's in it, right? And so they all go hard. And sometimes by the second day, there's maybe 5 or 6 guys that are still in it. And the rest are kind of like, yeah, we're in the middle of the pack and we can't win the thing. So I think you're right. I think it does calm down a little bit on the second day. But I agree. Now you have an event where you can win that Stanley Cup. That basically for us, it's a Stanley Cup, and you can win it from anywhere. So we've got, last I heard, 18 cars confirmed coming. Probably the biggest field in a long time for that race. What do you got to do if you start, and we talked about in another interview that in IMCA, the car that's first place going into the main event starts in 10th, right? We
Yeah.
invert the top 10. So say you're starting 10th. I know you've been there a few times, starting way back there. What do you have to do to win something like this?
You have to be aggressive, but at the right times, and have a lot of luck. Because if it doesn't go single file, there's not really much you can do. I know the one year I was the third or fourth on the outside, and our line was starting to slow down, and I let off just for a split second because I thought there was an opening to get down, and cost me 4 or 5 spots in one corner.
Yeah, it's tricky, that track. It can be, if you're stuck on the outside, you can just have this little freight train that blows by you on the inside, and
Yeah.
that can be tricky. Do you find it gets a little rough sometimes, or is it not too bad?
Um, it's not too bad. Everyone tries to drive pretty clean because I think everyone knows that when it's that tight and you're too wide, any little wreck is going to collect just about everyone.
Yeah, and I think too, like I think you would agree that most of the people in this class aren't made of big money and stuff like that, and so they're not looking to do a bunch of extra work. And so what
Yeah.
I found when I raced with IMCA drivers is, they race you hard, but they race you clean for the most part.
Yeah.
And if stuff does happen, it's usually an honest mistake by someone. Something goes wrong, part breaks
Yeah.
something, something like that, right?
Pretty much how it always goes.
Yeah. Um, it's going to be interesting for sure with these things, and with the 2 day show. Um, Maybe talk about the trophy a little bit. You when you win the memorial, you get to have the trophy with you for the year, and have it displayed. Where did you have it displayed in your house? And maybe just talk about what the trophy means and what it's all about.
Well, for a little while, I had it on the kitchen table, but then with the young kids and stuff, we kind of hid it downstairs so they weren't knocking it over and stuff. It's pretty big deal though. It's a big trophy. It gets a little bigger every year, and when you're holding it up on the front stretch though, it doesn't feel heavy at all.
We got all that adrenaline going through you,
Yeah.
yeah. But it is a pretty cool. I like to think of it like a historical document. I mean, yes, it does have every race winner on there, but it also has every person that's competed in every event, and time-ins, and the dashes, and I think someone said even the flagman is listed on the trophy every year. So I think it's pretty neat, and it. For me, it's exciting even every time I double. Oh yeah, there I am.
Yeah.
You kind of double check and you make sure it's there, even though it's going to be there. But it's pretty cool to see. Maybe just talk a little bit about, because again, you guys are pretty close with the Ross family. Maybe talk a little bit about Todd Ross and his drive to keep this event going and alive.
Well, it's pretty awesome actually, because like it sad to say, but the race probably wouldn't still be going if he didn't push so hard. And it's pretty cool that he keeps that race around as such a big deal, especially when Race City shut down and everything, and the records he keep on it. That's pretty awesome too, because like you look back and it's all the people that you grew up watching your race and get to be on the same trophy and kind of same stage that they were on competing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, he's been sending me all sorts of stats and numbers and all this kind of stuff. And one of the cool things is 124 different drivers have raced in this race, and
Yeah.
we'll have a few new drivers this year, which will add to that total even more. Um, and it's just keeps growing all the time. And but I also think it's cool. I mean, there's a little bit of pride. Your dad won the first one, right? And
Yeah.
so he won the first one, and now both of you and your brother have won it. And I know, talking with Cameron, he really wants to get his picture on there too. He feels kind of like what you said, that kind of duty and responsibility to
Yeah.
the family name and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty neat. Just before we wrap up, is there anyone that you would like to thank, or sponsors, or anything like that?
Just Todd for keeping the race going, and my daddy's been a huge help and support all through the years, and my brother and Cam and everyone who's helped on the car. We don't really have any sponsors. We'd rather run broke, I guess. So,
but you guys put on a heck of a show, and it's pretty amazing when we talk about your family, the Clarks, the Malones. Just three families can have a full field of cars basically,
yeah.
by showing up at the racetrack, and that's pretty cool. And again, I know you guys value IMCA, but I know also IMCA values your family's support for the series. And without you guys, sometimes there might not have been enough cars to run events and stuff like that. And so it's this kind of big reciprocal thing that we all do as racers. And like you said, we'll find a way to get there and race, even if it is running on the broke budget, and do those things. So Colby,
Yeah.
we hope this weekend goes well for you coming up here, the Roy Ross Memorial, July 23rd and 24th. We also wish you all the best, young family, and all those things. And I know you're busy with that, but we wish you all the best. We hope your weekend of racing goes well. We hope that you can beat the old man and the brothers, and get maybe number 2 on the trophy. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Have a great night, and we'll see you at the track.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thanks.